I still have an iPhone 12, but if the iPhone 17 includes these three capabilities, I'll finally want to upgrade. Will Apple eventually follow through on Apple Intelligence? The iPhone 12 is great. It might not have the most powerful chip or the greatest cameras in 2025, but it's still very modern, or at the very least dependable, as far as phone technology goes. It was the first phone I had with MagSafe, which changed the way I charge my phone and let me use camera continuity mounts. I'm also really thankful for its strong ceramic display shield because I drop my phone at least once a day. I know the iPhone 12 is 5 years old already, but the new iPhones that have come out since then haven't made me want to change. My CPU can handle whatever I throw at it, and the dual 12 megapixels camera system takes amazing family photos in great detail. Changes to the software, the notch, or the USB-C charging haven't made me want to buy anything. I will say that the more iPhones come out, the more I want to upgrade. Now I'm thinking that the iPhone 17 might be the phone that finally pushes me over the brink. I've been paying close attention to rumors about new releases, and if Apple adds the following features and hardware enhancements, I'll surely be robbing my piggy bank. 120Hz refresh rate. My iPhone 12 has a static 60Hz refresh rate. This has been OK most of the time, but where I've began to really feel its limitations is when playing fast-paced games. I could have upgraded to any Pro or Pro Max model since the iPhone 13 Pro to have access to Apple's promotion technology, but I've never felt like that feature alone is worth the price premium. That's why I was so delighted to see numerous reports that the regular iPhone 17 could finally sport a 120Hz display. The greater the refresh rate, the smoother a phone display feels, and therefore a 120Hz screen would make a substantial change to the experience of scrolling, swiping, and gaming on this year's model. The iPhone 17's display could easily be brighter too. I wouldn't consider this as a cause to upgrade, but it would absolutely be good to have if the upgrade cost was on the cards anyway. There also have been various claims about whether the dynamic island on the iPhone 17 series will appear any different. In May, Pu stated all iPhone 17 models will employ a new Manolens technology for the proximity sensor, which might allow Apple to lower the size of the Face ID sensor and the dynamic island, according to 9to5Mac. Analyst Ming-Chi Kuo, on the other hand, said in January that the dynamic island will stay largely unchanged in the iPhone 17 lineup compared to the iPhone 16. We'll have to see what ends up being true. Rumors on what frames the iPhone 17 lineup will feature have gone back and forth. In February, Pu said the iPhone 17, iPhone 17 Pro, and iPhone 17 Pro Max will all have metal frames. He highlighted that the iPhone 17 Air could be the outlier with a titanium frame. Vastly improved Wi-Fi support. The iPhone 17 is rumored to feature Apple's own Wi-Fi 7 chips as the company finally makes the transfer away from third-party suppliers. This modification is likely to lead to better integration and efficiency with the iPhone's hardware and software. As my profession requires a rock-solid connection, the promise of faster speeds, lower latency, and more consistent connections has me thinking that it might be time to invest in this year's new model. Wi-Fi 7 serves approximately 46 gigabytes per second compared to 9.6 gigabytes per second with Wi-Fi 6. Improved reliability comes in the form of bigger 320 MHz channels, multi-link operation, and enhanced MU-MIMO for better interference control. These are esoteric figures and features, but they're set to provide substantial improvements to the experience of using an iPhone, and I want in. But a contradictory claim from leaker Fixed Focus Digital on Weibo suggests the standard iPhone 17 will contain an A19 chip as well. The leaker also says the iPhone 17 Air could contain the more advanced A19 Pro chip. Ice Universe also revealed the iPhone 17 will sport an A19 chip, 9to5Mac reported in July. It's possible the phones could also have the Apple-developed 5G modem, turned the C1 processor, which debuted on the iPhone 16e. In February, Kuo indicated Apple will swap out Broadcom's Wi-Fi processors for in-house chips across the iPhone 17 lineup, adding this would enhance connectivity across Apple devices. It's not yet clear what exactly this would mean, but it would be interesting if Apple's C1 processor was also joined by its own Wi-Fi chip. Superior AI performance. 2025 is not going to be the year that we witness Siri become the digital companion Apple claimed it would be back in 2024. With Samsung and Google already pushing the boundaries of AI on smartphones, Apple is in danger of slipping out of the race completely, especially with the declaration that Siri's AI advancements won't come until 2026. All of these delays are frustrating, but that doesn't mean you can't get yourself hardware ready so that you're all set when Apple's whole AI package does finally come along. For me to achieve that, though, it's looking likely that I'll need to make the even bigger move, not from the iPhone 12 to the iPhone 17, but to the iPhone 17 Pro. Of course, I'll need to weigh out the cost ramifications of this decision, but I know I truly want to be ready to experience the full force of Apple Intelligence when it lands. Thankfully, there's a great probability that the iPhone 17 Pro will contain a new A19 chip, which is likely to be manufactured on a more advanced 3nm process. My A14 Bionic chip isn't horrible for ordinary jobs, but it can't deliver the CPU, GPU, and neural engine performance that AI requires. This new A19 CPU is rumored to incorporate a neural engine built to manage larger on-device AI workloads, which is necessary for supporting Apple Intelligence capabilities. The iPhone 17 Pro will also likely contain extra RAM, maybe up to 12 gigs, which would be a considerable increase on the iPhone 16 series. This upgrade would increase the phone's capacity to handle multitasking and new AI functions in iOS 26. But it doesn't mean the baseline version won't get any boost. Even if battery capacity stays the same, which it may not, the AI-powered adaptive power feature launching with iOS 26 can assist increase battery life. The technology automatically changes your iPhone's performance based on how you're using it at the moment, according to Apple. This might especially be handy with the sleeker iPhone 17 Air, which will presumably feature a thinner battery. The new liquid glass interface gives a more transparent, lens-like aspect to the iPhone and other Apple products. With iOS 26, the camera app also adopts a more simple look, and Photos once again makes it easier to access your albums by adding separate tabs for your library and collections, instead of forcing you to wade through a single cluttered screen. Updates to Messages include being able to add backgrounds to chat windows and create polls in group conversations, and a new screening tool can better detect spam texts and shift messages from unknown senders to a designated folder. In April, Tipster Digital Chat Station observed that considering the employment of Apple Intelligence and AI on a large scale, the iPhone 17 lineup will come with 12 gigs of RAM instead of the current 8 gigs. Kuo added the iPhone 17 Air and Pro variants will flaunt that extra 12 gigs of RAM, but that Apple was still debating whether to equip the baseline device with 8 gigs or 12 gigs of RAM. In May, Pew said the baseline will remain at 8 gigs. Another leaker from China has also supplied some intel on the iPhone 17 Pro and Pro Max. Setsuna Digital, also known as Instant Digital, promises that the gadgets will be able to keep high brightness levels for longer periods of time under sunshine. Phones tend to grow heated under direct sunlight, but since the iPhone 17 Pro is supposed to operate cooler, screen brightness likely won't be adjusted purposefully to prevent overheating. The phones will also have a more consistent frame rate to guarantee a better experience when playing games. This means that there will be no frame rate stuttering, even at periods when the phone is hot. This will seemingly be made feasible via a separate cooling system. The leaker also adds that the phone's video performance when recording at 4K/60 will increase. Will these upgrades come to fruition? With all of the disappointment and delays surrounding Apple Intelligence, I assume that Apple wants to smash it out of the park with the iPhone 17 lineup. As an iPhone 12 user, I'm split between a prospective upgrade to the iPhone 17 Pro versus waiting for the iPhone 18. By that point, Apple should have realized its already publicized AI intentions, and the 18th edition of the company's flagship phone will be properly set up for these new features. However, these upgrades come with a hefty price tag. The iPhone 17 Pro is rumored to start at $1,049, while the Pro Max could begin at $1,249. While the extra cost may give you pause, the combination of prolonged battery life, enhanced performance, and improved thermal management could make these handsets a reasonable purchase for anyone wanting a reliable and efficient smartphone. The iPhone 17 Pro and Pro Max promise more than just incremental advancements. By focusing on practical enhancements such as battery capacity, processor efficiency, and thermal management, Apple is solving real-world concerns that directly affect your daily smartphone use. These advancements may not make headlines like new camera features or display innovations, but they offer practical benefits that could dramatically improve your overall experience. As you consider your next smartphone purchase, these hidden upgrades could make the iPhone 17 Pro or Pro Max an appealing choice, giving a balance of performance, dependability, and usefulness tailored to your needs. In truth, this is just hearsay. I'll be keeping a close eye on for the latest iPhone 17 coverage when it lands on September 9. Only then will I know whether it's time to say goodbye to my faithful iPhone 12. So, if you enjoyed this video, please don't forget to give it a thumbs up and subscribe to our channel for more exciting tech news and updates. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you in the next one.